guys, welcome to episode 2 of Wonder Showcase, where today I will be looking at the Great Wall of China. If you don't know, this is the Great Wall of China here. I think it looks really cool. And this here is a map of the red lines are where the Great Wall still exists today. Although there was much more of it around when it was actually built, as we'll go into later in the video. So basic information to start off with. It's located mostly in northern China, although there are bits in North Korea and northern Mongolia as well, which is quite interesting. You probably didn't know that. The construction started in the 7th century BC, and it was the recognisable bit of the wall. Was finished around 206, although there were bits still being built in the 1400s. Again, we'll go on to that later. It's about 21,167.96 kilometers squared, which is quite interesting. It's not in square, but it's lengthwise. That's how big it is. It functions as it's a wall. It's a defensive area, and the architectural styles, traditional Chinese, again, obvious there. This is a picture of one of the towers along it, like the watchtowers. I think they look pretty cool. I think the wall really looks. I think it looks just amazing, really. It's one of those I'll just never get over how good it looks, no matter how much I marvel. Right, next, general facts. As well as for defence purposes, the Great Wall have included border controls, allowing the imposition of duties on goods transported along the Silk Road, regulation or encouragement of trade, and the control of immigration and emigration. Furthermore, the defensive characteristics of the Great Wall were enhanced by the construction of watchtowers, troop barracks, garrison stations, signalling capabilities through the means of smoke or fire, and the fact that the path of the Great Wall also served as a transportation corridor. So it's really good in other ways, not only as defense, but trading wise, but of course its main thing is defense, and it's pretty good at that. It's also known as the 1,000-mile wall and the Long Wall for obvious reasons. Next, size. The main Great Wall line stretches from Shanhaiguan in the east to Lop Lake in the west, along an arch that roughly delineates the southern edge of Inner Mongolia. A comprehensive archaeological survey using advanced technologies has concluded that the Ming walls measure 8,850 kilometers or 5,500 miles. This is made up of 6,259 kilometers, 3,889 miles, sections of actual wall, 359 kilometers of trenches, and 2,232 kilometers of natural defensive areas such as hills and rivers. Another archaeological survey found that the entire wall, with all its branches, measure out to be 21,196 kilometers, 13,171 miles, which is quite big, really. Rebuilding history. The Great Wall of China is a series of fortifications made of stone, brick, tamped earth, wood, and other materials generally built along an east-to-west line across the historical northern border of China to protect the Chinese states and empires against the raids and invasions of the various nomadic groups in the Eurasian steppe. So that's the Russians and the Mongolians mainly. Several walls were being built as early as the 7th century BC. These later joined together and made the bigger and stronger, and now collectively referred to as the Great Wall. Especially famous is the wall built 220 to 206 BC by Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. Little of that wall remains. Since then, the Great Wall has on and off been rebuilt, maintained, and enhanced. The majority of the existing wall is from the Ming Dynasty, which we'll go into just now, in a minute. The Great Wall, one of the greatest wonders of the world, obviously, which is why I'm doing it fairly early on, was listed as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 1987. The wall we see today was mostly built during the Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644. It starts from Hushan in the east to Jai Yuguan Pass in the west, traversing Liaoning, Hebei, Beijing, Tianjin, Shanxi, Inner Mongolia, Ningxi, Shaanxi, Gansu, and Qinghai. Sorry, my Chinese pronunciation isn't the best, so if anyone else can do it properly, then yeah, I'm not the best. The Great Wall carries a considerable part of Chinese culture, as it's so old. It has long been incorporated in Chinese mythology and symbolism. The most well-known legend is about the collapse of a section of the wall caused by Meng Jiangnu, who cried bitterly over the death of her husband after he died while building the wall. This legend has been spread widely through textbooks, folk songs, and traditional operas. So yeah, that was my Great Wall. That was my Great Wall talk. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you've learnt quite a bit that you didn't know before. There's a common misconception actually before I end, is that you can see the Great Wall of China from outer space. Yes, if it was in one big group, then you would be able to see it but as it's stretched out, you can't actually see it from space. Just to clear up that misconception. Picture that I didn't actually show you. That's a pretty cool picture in my opinion. No Photoshop there. And this picture here is to demonstrate how big it is. As you can see, it goes along here and then down here, up here, along up, and then down. Up here with the branches coming out there and there, I think. Building history is another one I missed out. It's like an artist's impression of what it looks like while it's being built. So as you can see, scaffolding with people dragging up stones and stuff, massive stuff like that. And the final picture of the day of the Great Wall, beautiful Chinese skies there, brilliant fog there. That's just a brilliant picture. That is beautiful. And on that, it's time to end. And I'll see you in the next episode, where I can't even remember what I'll be looking at, but I'll see you when I do find out what I'm doing next week. Goodbye.